Hey guys, Triptych here, and I am super excited about this today. I get to give you a Triptychs mod game. This is version 3.7. I've been working on Triptychs mod 3.8, and as anybody knows who's seen my videos, I usually end up talking about all the stuff that I change. But that's okay. This is a free-for-all game between our four players. I think we have a board over here, so yeah, load textures. So the players today are Chips, Shadow, Martok, and Starmaster Prodigy. So Chips is a Muriel Romulan. Shadow has gone PureTech Dominion. Martok is Muriel Romulan. And we have Shadow is Optimized Borg. And Martok has not played this version yet. So they're all in another voice chat right now talking to each other. See, it's an FFA, so it's a little bit less rushy, and even though the map itself encourages very close quarters encounters, actually these are some interesting races to have for that. But so they're gonna be helping him out, and so he has an excuse if he doesn't do super well. So some of the features of Triptychs mod, especially 3.7, is that your starting resources are significantly lower. However, mining rates are higher, and you'll see here. Yeah, Starmaster Prodigy, he's just going for straight miners. He's not even building his conduction matrix just yet. It's less important in Triptychs mod to get it right away than it is in the base game. In the base game, you need it because you're collecting nodes levels research, but you don't need those in Triptychs mod. So, but the map rotary supercollider features a pair of easily rated home moons. As you can see, they're very far away from your starbase, so these can be rated without a lot of resistance. However, the actual path to get to your enemy is a little bit narrow, so you could have a scout here and you'd be able to see someone coming. Then there is a forward dilithium moon for each player, and sort of a safe tritanium moon, followed by a forward expansion that's in a very central location with a purple nebula in the middle. And then there's also some spots with green nebula here that you could take advantage of. They're very difficult to because of the way the blocking triggers. You couldn't get a whole fleet, but you might get one ship in there. And then there's a similar one here where there's actually some purple nebula you can hide in. The idea was to balance this between the races, where the non-Borg races do have an option to raid and actually recover their shields in enemy territory, whereas Borg tend to be a bit better at using purple nebulas than other races. But yeah, the idea is everybody is sort of funneled. That's why it's called the Rotary Super Collider. It's an old XKCD joke about a traffic pattern that forces cars to crash into each other, basically. So the idea is if everybody actually does expand to their forward expansion, they're going to be really close to each other. In practice, this tends to favor Dominion and Federation a bit, the turret building races. And in Triptychs mod, I've tried to give other races better turret options because fortifying this forward position is very important. And like the Romulans and the Borg don't really fortify as well. So here you can see Starmaster Prodigy, he's using all of his starting resources on getting these miners and uplinks going. He's not even doing 2 miners per moon until he gets 1 miner on these moons, because you do get slightly better income off of 1 miner on 2 moons with 1 miner each than 1 moon with 2 miners. Not a lot, but a bit more. Okay, let's go back around. So Chips has gotten his home mining and is already going for his slightly outer dilithium. He is getting his star yard, however, he's probably still going for warbirds. In Triptychs mod, you no longer require the research suit for warbird yard, you just need the regular star yard. On the opposite side, Martok is also doing it, getting his mining, and he's using this as a repair yard. In the top right, Shadow he is upgrading. So the new Dominion mechanic is that rather than using prototypes are not a tech requirement anymore, but you have level 1, 2, and 3 yards, and you can build prototypes for stuff using the lower level yards, but in order to build the actual version, you need a higher level yard. So that was him upgrading his base yard to level 2, and I'm wondering if he'll build another yard over here when he can afford it. Each yard individually has to be upgraded. So like if you want to build B8s out of multiple yards, you're going to need multiple yards at level 3. And in the bottom left, Starmaster Prodigy is still building miners. Borg miners have a lot less hit points in Triptychs mod. They went down from like 45 defense to 30. They are way easier to kill. However, once you get a regeneration research, your freighters can actually regenerate. So they're easier to kill early game, maybe a little bit harder to kill late game, although you can still get them when they're docking for resources and then they can't repair. So we see some Riens coming out here from chips, and I'm really wondering if we're going to see a larger yard soon. The bottom right, some Riens from Martok as well. Riens get a bonus to killing freighters. However, against Borg, you'll still need 3 or 4 Riens to kill miners. The idea was to give everybody an option, because in Triptychs mod it's so much more powerful to expand and get a powerful economy. I wanted to give people an option to do early raiding that would be more effective. So no weapons out of Shadow. Everybody's kind of exploring their options. Like I say, and just because I wanted to give people the option to do early raiding doesn't mean that you're forced into it. In fact, a lot of people still enjoy going for the later game stuff. That's a single Rien out from chips, and he's working on another one. He'll be able to produce those very consistently with what he's got. Another thing about this mod is if your mining station is on the left side of a moon, 2 miners will mine almost perfectly from it. As you can see here, there's like maybe half a second of lost time. Borg have a different setup than everybody else. However, if you do have your mining station on the right side, you may want a 3rd miner, just because it will save you loss of like a few seconds every cycle. But when the income is this high and the miners are this cheap, it's a good idea to have 3. Here we see, okay, Singularity Transmitter. It's a bit more powerful and cheaper in Triptychs mod. Gives energy to your ships and also powers turrets. So there is, was that the first Rien or maybe the second? No, I think that's the first Rien out of Martok. We're about to see the second Rien out of chips over here. Starmaster Prodigy still has not built anything even close to military. And he's getting shot at by this Rien. It's going to take a while to kill this, but there's no defenses at all. So I think Martok's going to get the kill on this miner eventually. But the trick is there's just so much mining coming on from Starmaster Prodigy, he'll be okay anyway. And that's the thing, is like early raids are not really going to knock someone out in this version because there's so much other mining going on. So I guess at this point I will just cycle around people's activity. We have 2 Riens working on a 3rd here, and you can see Chips is starting to get his economy is really starting to add up. I'm expecting to see a Warbird yard. Oh, Star Yard right here. Over here, Shadow is building his S2s. Yeah, these are in the next version of Triptychs mod. So in this version, they deal bonus damage to freighters and have reduced sensor value. I've actually taken that out in the next version because it wasn't really needed. Like, they were already pretty good at killing miners, but it's here now, and it also gets the bonus against constructors. So this constructor is probably going to die. You'll see that the damage output of this S2 is incredible. The defense battery, I don't know if it's going to finish before this gets killed. Like I say, I wanted each race to have a powerful mining or a powerful raiding option, but I think I didn't need to put it on onto this ship because it was already good at raiding. You'll also notice Triptychs mod, I updated the tooltips a lot to show what these things can do. So yeah, the escort cruiser isn't under a whole lot of danger from these Riens. Riens still have very low offense potential in the beginning, and the S2 is faster than they are. So I don't think they're going to get the kill, but they do force it off, and that's going to allow them to build a turret. And the turret is very powerful. It has a powerful pulse weapon, so it's very powerful against small targets. Over here, we see a conduction matrix finally, and Starmaster Prodigy building a medium vinculum. These are the cores of Borg ships. It's the replacement mechanic for Triptychs mod. Rather than having collective connections, you have vinculums. And so one medium vinculum will allow you to have one medium Borg ship out, like a cap, either an assimilator, sphere, pyramid, or diamond. And then if that ship dies, you can still use that vinculum for something else. So this way, a large chunk of the price of the ship is used up in the vinculum, which means losing a ship and rebuilding it is not that expensive. Ooh, this could be bad though. Yeah. Two S2s is very, very deadly against miners and constructing ships. Like, yeah, they will put a lot of hurt on that ship in a very short amount of time. Sorry, I've already fixed it in the next version. Here we see Chips is taking out some miners, though. That's going to be effective. The S2 spam is continuing. And they do deal bonus damage to Riens because they're long range. However, the Riens, if they get phase plates, they will take greatly reduced damage from short range. And there we see that. And you can see the sheer amount of income. Sometimes people transitioning from earlier versions, even myself, to Triptychs mod, get kind of thrown off by how much income you have. You have a lot of money in Triptychs mod. Oh, I see this star was cancelled. Oh, there it goes. But Chips killed a miner and got out. Ooh. And Martok actually got a kill on that S2. So down here, Starmaster Prodigy, his vinculum building speed is going to be what limits him. He might even go for a second conduction matrix. But his actual income is very high. He's got 2 moon pairs. And for reference, the base income for non-Triptychs mod is 450 dilithium per minute and 300 tritanium per minute from one of these. In Triptychs mod, it was increased to 600 dilithium per minute and 400 tritanium a minute. So it's a 33% increase, which means right now Starmaster Prodigy is bringing in 1200 dilithium per minute. So that's going to be quite a lot. That's a sphere every minute and a half. And over here, yeah, I'm expecting to see. Yeah, Chips has got even more now since he's got a little bit going on here. So Chips has got approaching 1800 dilithium per minute. So he can Rien spam out of 2 yards, and he'll be able to build warbirds as well. Oh, over here, losing that mining was a little bit of a setback for Martok, but he's still building Riens. He was able to kill off one of those. He didn't. Okay, there goes faceplates. There have also been a lot of quality of life improvements in Triptychs mod. For example, research yards now have build queues. Unfortunately, when you click on research and when you select the research, it kicks you out of the menu, so you have to go back into the menu for each one. This is an Armada 2 feature that I can't do anything about. But if you use like hotkeys for your research, for starting your research, you can start a bunch of them and queue them up. So let's see. Shadow is now on 2 yards. He is getting his tech lab, and you can see he has ripped through his supply very quickly in getting these up. The yard upgrades also cost a little bit of supply. It's like 10 or 20, I think. But he has some bugs. So the Destroyer in Triptychs mod has had a large defense increase and a price increase. So it's more of a main tank for your fleet, a bit similar to the Monsoon. And it also specifically, it has 17 defense while the S2 has 18. So the idea is when these fly together, the enemy will auto-target the A20s first. Which is, it's a bit similar to the way Quebecs and Sangs work for the Klingons. It's nice having a tanky, cheap defense unit and then a powerful offense unit that gets auto-tanked for it. Over here we see, okay, Salar is starting to come out. Salar is one of the warbirds that in Triptychs mod has a greatly increased supply cost, but a greatly increased combat stats as well. So they can be very supply intensive to repeatedly produce them, but they're very effective. Now I know that's not the first vinculum, that's the second vinculum. Am I missing his? Oh, there it is. Okay. So he has built a triple beam torpedo sphere. Beam modules in Triptychs mod go back. They're similar to the way they were in a previous version, where each beam module adds an additional attack. So this is going to shoot at 4 targets at once. However, its actual damage, oh, this tooltip hasn't been updated. The actual damage is more like 24. It's very low. So it does struggle to kill things, especially in the beginning, and especially if it gets outnumbered, because the attacks are also on random targets. But against Riens, it will be very it'll be very dangerous against Riens because it's dealing multiple shots. So it's hard for it to get kills. It also struggles if it fights near an enemy yard because some of those shots will target the yard. It's very hard to get. It's very bad at getting individual kills. However, it also scales really nasty. So if you start getting 2, 3, 4 beam spheres together, that's when they're scary, because their actual damage output is huge. And here you see Star Master actually building a new base yard. Like these star bases, the ones you can build are a lot cheaper than they used to be, but they also start out without guns. So he'll have to finish this and then upgrade its guns. But once he does, he'll have a very powerful bastion here. And somebody's descloaking. Okay, so Chips is going after Shadow, who's going to rip through his mining. Shadow is trying to switch to large yard production while raiding Martok. He is going to raid him very fast. And these Riens are going to come in, but the question is, does the Borg sphere move out? And also, there's the Daredeks. So Daredeks, extremely powerful combat ships, extremely supply intensive. So it's difficult to build a large number of them. Is that going to get through? It probably will. It has phase plates. Phase plates gives it like plus 70% reduction versus short. So it only takes like a third damage from these ships when that's active. Do we have these Riens coming in though? Oh! So Star Master Prodigy didn't want to get involved. He's like, I don't want to fight anybody until I have 5 spheres. And all of a sudden Shadow's like, wait, guys, this is a problem. So I wonder about that. You see, these spheres, like it's not actually that dangerous because you see the individual S2s didn't take a lot of damage. But the real threat is if those Riens come in at the same time, these S2s could die very, very fast. There's a bit of a decloak. The other interesting thing, the Daredeks is a command ship. So it will give a plus 20% attack rate bonus to all of these Riens as long as they're flying near it. Ta-da! And you'll see it go up in a second. There we go. 20% rate of fire. I really want to get an animation for that though. It's something I'm working on for the future. So you'll actually be able to tell when ships have command on them other than checking for that little icon. So there's the second beam sphere. Second verse, same as the first. And, ooh, another guy coming in to kill off a constructor. He might actually get it with this focus. Popping phase plates actually causes that Romulan rate of fire bonus to go back up. And did he just cancel? He cancels construction. I wonder if they said something about that in voice chat. If he was like, guys, leave me alone, I'll cancel it. Like 5, they used to be like 700 dilithium or something. And I figured that wasn't really fair. So now they're like 500. They're still very expensive, but... And this game... So this game is loaded with Riens. Let's see. So over here, yeah, Salars. Salars, of course, very deadly because they have a single target stun with their Disruptor Bombardment special. So you get a couple Salars, you fight against spheres, and you can just stun some of the spheres. And they can't shoot, they can't regen, they can't move. I think if they were already regenerating, they keep on regenerating, but still. Yeah. Chips is running into the supply problem, though. He's going to have to start buying supply because warbirds cost quite a lot. And over here, Martok is probably going to run into the same. Every single Daredeks is like 83 supply. But has incredible combat stats, 4863. So, oh yeah, there goes that decommission. So the sphere count is going to become scary pretty soon here. And you can see Star Master Prodigy, he's still doing fine on income. Get another constructor. Since he canceled, he got the resources back from that one. But there's a lot of Riens. People are exploring Rien spam. Remember, the Rien actually does have reduced sensor range because of its passive. So if you bring a scout, like they can't fire at their full long range without something assisting them with sensors. And these Riens, well, so this is an interesting one. Like the Riens, aren't doing too much damage, but the spheres really can't hurt them very much. You'll see, like, eventually they'll start to take some damage. But they can probably chase down this sphere. It's a bit risky. Like, this Daredix can't be killed by these spheres at all, because their damage output... See, it's, I have to do the tooltip in the next version, but their actual damage output is kind of low against a single target. The torpedo helps. In fact, in this case, the torpedo is actually pretty good for Star Master Prodigy, because it lets them fight this Daredix a bit. But, yeah, you see everybody retreats without a lot of damage. And another conduction matrix, I'm kind of surprised he built it out here. He was optimized, right? Yeah. Maybe he just built it out here because that's where his constructor was at the time. And I mean, it has a lot of hit points, so it's not like people are going to kill it. But yeah, he's going to be using 2 conduction matrices to build more uplinks pretty soon here. So, Star Master Prodigy definitely starting to get his economy going. I think if he were to fight one of these guys one-on-one, he could do a lot of damage to them. But the problem is, if he has to fight 2 of them, his beam spheres are going to spread their damage out so much that they're not going to be able to kill anything. On the flip side, if he ends up in a fight with, you know, where he and someone else are attacking an enemy, then the damage the beam spheres put out is incredibly high. You'll also notice, so this guy has 68, 38, and no regen. These things do not regenerate very well at all. In fact, now that the smaller ships have the regeneration passive, like, beam spheres are one of the slowest recovering ships in the entire Borg arsenal, which is the trade-off for the fact that they have insane damage output. This is going to have to cancel. Man, that's just medium range. That's pretty good range on these. Okay. In the top, we have some defense batteries going out. Wonder if we will see cloak generator. However, there is a cloaked spy satellite there, detecting enemies. You see, yeah, the Daredix are like, oh, ow, it hurts, and then they just sort of leave. Up in the top right, we haven't looked at Shadow for a while. It looks like he did hold off on the S2s for a bit. He's expanding that Dominion mining, so he's getting supply mining up. And going B5s. B5s are command ships in Triptychs mod, so they are also giving bonus damage to all these smaller ships. However, command ships cannot receive it themselves, so they don't bonus each other. They have a lot of things, so they are command ships and they are carriers, and I think they're also troop ships. I might have taken that out though. I'll have to check. They're basically they're support ships in many ways. However, in Triptychs mod, they're all short range. In the previous one, the PureTech ones upgraded to medium range. However, that was too complex, I felt, since most people who used them were PureTech anyway. But being an enemy and having to pay attention to which range they were, I didn't like it. So for that reason, both versions are short range now. Here you see some Riens opening up on this sphere that still hasn't repaired itself. At some point, you're going to have to transition out of Riens or upgrade them. Torpedo Riens, they are very high damage and they are very good at killing these things, but their defense is low and they're crazy expensive. They're cheaper in Triptychs mod by a significant margin, and their special deals a lot of damage. Just so you know, not a lot of people know this, in Triptychs mod, the torpedo special of the Torpedo Rien has had its damage cranked way up. So, like, if you did upgrade all these Torpedo Riens, like, one volley from all of these would take half the health off of the sphere. Here we see a large cluster of mining killing ships coming down from chips. They just eradicate that guy, but they're going to back off. And Prodigy is stuck building his supply buildings. Now he's even going for a small vinculum. He did get 4 beam spheres, and they do also take greatly reduced damage from beams, by the way. So that's an interesting thing, how these Riens are dealing pulse damage. If you did have heavy beam damage, the spheres would shrug off a lot of it. Yeah, there's another one. So Prodigy actually doing a very good job of spending all of his money. Up here, Chips has 4 sailors, 5 sailors. I wish I could tell these guys. So the other thing the Romulans have is one of their starbase upgrades. It's the second one. Well, in this version, you have to do them linearly, so you have to get the cloaking generator, then the supply depot. In the next version, you can do either one first. But the supply depot reduces the supply cost of Romulan ships by half. Slightly less for the Salar and the Diderdix. So they really need that economically. Like, actually, these people haven't played this very much, so they don't know. So it's kind of my fault for not telling them. But you really do want to upgrade the supply depot on your home starbase. It will really help you with building these large fleets, especially when you're in an economy-based game like this. But anyway, as we see, Chip's doing a pretty good job at spending his money. He might be transitioning out of Rians, or maybe it's just that 1 yard stopped building. He never got a research institute or phase plates. You'll notice you can actually build Salars without a research institute, so you can do some stuff without any tick buildings at all. Over on the right, Shadow, I think, has been gradually cranking up his economy. Hasn't built ships for a while. He's really starting to blaze ahead in income. I guess because he's been spending all of his money getting these mining stations for so long. We will see if he's about to switch into multiple large yards, or if he's going to upgrade these to level 3 and get some B8s. Yeah, I'm actually surprised he doesn't do as much. B5s cost a lot more than they did in previous versions, by the way. Martok still having a bit of a rough time, because he had trouble fortifying this, and because Shadow is right there already with his S2s. If Martok actually was able to get like 3 or 4 defense platforms up, it would really shut down these S2s. So he's kind of mining. He's getting a decent amount of income. 2 miners on there will give him like 90% of the income from that moon. So just about everybody here is on 3 moon pairs. And oh, I was about to say he was having trouble spending his money because he had like 4 grand a minute ago, but he has built Tal Shiar Academy. Oh, is he refitting? He's refitting. I was like, how did he spend 5,000 dilithium all like that? It's because they're getting torpedo Rians. I really hope he gets the special. I might even like pop over into the voice chat and just let him know, because I don't think anybody in this game knows how strong that special is. Bit of a graphical glitch. I fixed that in the next version. So these guys, thing is, their defense is only 18, but their offense is very powerful, and they have torpedoes, and they have a bonus against stations. More Rians, killing more miners. Is he going to regen? Oh, he never even got the regeneration special. Bing! Aw, not yet. One of my goals with this game was to make it so that smaller groups of ships could raid. 8 Rians is not a small group. Oh, so close. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Nice. 8 Rians is not a small group, but I wanted it to be like, 4 or 5 Rians could raid an undefended spot. Oh, they did some damage to the other one too. So you're like, yeah, that's an effective raiding party, I feel. I feel that is a balanced way to use those units. But yeah, so the torpedo refits, they're a very tricky ship because they're high damage, they're long range, and they have a very powerful... He is getting the special. Oh, I'm so excited. They have a very powerful special, however, that they're still very easy to kill. You got to be so careful with them because you can lose them in an instant. Okay, now the regeneration special is coming out. He got 1 incubation chamber, might get more. One of the things I added to Triptychs mod... Oh boy. You're gonna have to run though. Get ready to run. Yep. In Triptychs mod, when you build an incubation chamber, it gives you 50 supply immediately after finishing it, which means that like if you are a board player with a really big economy, but you're like completely out of supply, you're not totally screwed. You can get it up a little bit faster because like, the moment you get the incubation chamber, you get enough to build not a full sphere, but if you had like 30, you could build a sphere with what's left. So Starmaster Prodigy has achieved 5 beam spheres. Getting very scary. Oh, do you have the special yet? I want to see the special so bad. Actually, the tooltip should show it. It does 80 damage and then bounces to 2 more targets. So these beam spheres, like I say, their actual damage output isn't that high because it's spread out over your fleet. So you can kind of get some ships away, but if you have a whole bunch of Riens like this, and there are 5 spheres, all with very high power. So, okay, now we see the Romulans turning around. But there's these ones too! This could be very bad. These Salars are pretty safe, but Chips they're not being microed too well. The moon's also blocking a bit. Yeah, there you go. Like these Salars, they're not in danger. Like the spheres can't kill them very effectively. Oh, running away, running away. Oh, they used the special. What did they use it on? I didn't see. Oh, I don't know what they used it on, but... Oh, and now the Daredicks decloak, and they're going for that sphere. Or are they? They're kind of moving away. You see, but you don't need to be afraid of these beam spheres. Well, okay, there's enough of them that they're starting to hurt, but like... It's really hard for them to kill a Daredicks when they spread their damage. Everybody's kind of exploring the options available to them. You can also use this Singularity Transmitter to power up those Riens. So a couple of more options. Yeah, the other thing is the Salars. If you get Disruptor Bombardment, like in that scenario where 5 beam spheres come attack you, all you have to do is stun one of them, and then that one beam sphere is not getting away. And so you just kill the one that can't get away. Oh, we do have a... ooh, interesting. Oh, I need to update that tooltip. So this is a Vinculum Relay, which means it actually slowly boards enemy ships around it. Every 3 seconds, it kills 2 crew on your ship. So you actually can't stick around those for too long, especially not with a big fleet of small ships. These guys are really pounding on Shadow right now. Their special is ready. I want to see the special so bad. They're gonna run though. They're gonna run. There's a Daredicks. Ooh, there's a Tavara. Tavara can give a command bonus to other warbirds, but the Daredicks don't receive it. Use the special, Luke. Here you see, like that. Yeah, the beam spheres put out a tremendous amount of damage, but it's spread over the entire fleet. So they don't really get kills on anything. Star Master Prodigy continuing to fight valiantly against his 2 Romulan oppressors. Use the special, use the special, use the special. Oh, that's the special. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bam! Yeah. The Vector Torpedo special is really powerful in Triptychs mod. I did that specifically because Torpedo Riens had so much trouble fighting certain enemies. And I mean, it used to be a 900 dilithium ship. Can you really say that a 2918 ship is worth 900 dilithium? Not really. Oh dear. Shutting down a Perimeter is upgraded and has AT charges, so I'm actually surprised Shadow doesn't have more than he has. Oh, but there's a Salar down, and that's a lot of supply, and then this one I think will die. For some reason, all of the fighters went over here. I'm not sure why, but the fighters chased down all the way over there. This is a... Oh yeah, so I removed all of the individual upgrades for the perimeter. Uh-oh. Oh, you're gonna die. Oh, but there's the special! It goes off! Ba-ba-ba-ba-boom! Well, I mean, it mostly kills 1 battlecruiser, so like it's not overpowered, but it's still very powerful. And now these Briennes take a lot of damage from the S2s, but I'm really surprised that there aren't more S2s out. Oh yeah, Shadow is getting double teamed very harshly right now. And oh, there's just so much firepower that the S2s can't handle it. The heavy perimeter, yeah, you can just move out, even though it does good damage once its AT charges are exhausted. I really am quite surprised that Shadow didn't have more. I'll have to look into that. Because it seemed like with his economy, he could have had a lot more ships built than he did. Well, I'm always looking into things and tweaking things. Oh yeah, but I was mentioning so the perimeter, it used to be that it upgrades instantly, and then there was an offense and a defense and a system upgrade. In Triptychs mod, there's only one upgrade, but it doesn't happen instantly. It takes time. But then once it does upgrade, then the heavy perimeter just has all 3 upgrades, so it's a bit cheaper to get it than it used to be, and it's also immune to subsystem disables like a ultimate star yard. So over here we see the 4 spheres. I wonder if there's going to be a 5th from Prodigy, since he has he has an extra medium vinculum right now, obviously, because he had 5 and then one of them died. So I want to see this mechanic in play a bit more. Like, I want to see him rebuild spheres because they're cheaper to rebuild. Oh, these guys are probably talking in the chat right now. Oh, here we go, though. Bonus damage to stations. And the 2 Tavara is not upgraded, but the upgrade doesn't do a whole lot. These guys still have their specials available. So I guess, oh, and now Chips is hitting Martok. Now there is a cloaked defense battery here that's going to do really nasty things to these Riens. But then there's a lot of Riens. Okay, so now these guys go for it, and I think they're gonna be way too deadly for it because its offense value isn't super high. So we might get to see regular Riens fighting torpedo Riens here. As you can see, this many Riens, they might be a powerful raiding weapon, but they're not really going to cut it against fortified structures. But we have Warbirds. He's probably had many supply buys now. Ooh, and he is getting the stealth field upgrade, which does a significant penalty to enemy rate of fire. And Prodigy really backing off a bit. I guess he knew if he moves out too much, he'll get double teamed. And the spheres, they just, like I say, their base damage is so high, but it spreads out over the fleet, and their defense and their regeneration is so low that whatever damage they take is going to be permanent. Ooh, these guys are hiding in the Purple Nebula. Ooh, that guy got killed. I mean, these base Riens are a lot cheaper than these torpedo Riens, but oh no. The burst damage of the torpedo Riens is really high too. And since specials don't miss anymore, those torpedoes will just decimate these Riens. Now this is interesting. The Salars take half damage from long range, so they're highly resistant to their torpedo Riens. So the Salars will actually completely wreck the torpedo Riens. The torpedo Rien special will help them a bit. It'll help them kill 1, maybe 2 Salars. But if the Salars get their special and start stunning ships, I think the Salar fleet we have here beats the Daredek's Tavara fleet. But we'll see. He's coming to rip through Starmaster Prodigy's base. I really wonder what he's going for. He's upgraded his starbase. Okay, he's going for an ultimate starbase. Now what it does is it actually adds torpedo weapons onto nearby Borg structures. So each of your Borg structures nearby, major ones, not the uplinks, becomes a turret itself. Now there's 5. Did he ever, I don't know if he ever got a 6th medium vinculum. And you can see he's actually pretty strapped for Tritanium right now. And he's lost a lot of miners. And he's lost his incubation chambers, so like, He's been bullied pretty heavily. You can see Prodigy's very reluctant to move out of his base. And one thing about these ships is they rank up very nicely. If you get a vet to Daredix, it goes to 100 defense. It becomes tougher than Tavara. In fact, this one's already as tough as a Tavara. So let's see, he is building, okay, he is building the refits. Pro tip, in Triptychs mod, it is cheaper to build the refits from the stations than it is to refit them in the field. So once you unlock the technology, you do want to switch over to building the upgraded ones from your yards. That's a balance thing. I feel it's more fair because it can be overpowered if you build too many of the light ones and then refit them. But otherwise, if you have them, if they're the same price, then once you unlock the technology, then the refits become not very good. So it's fair to have the refits be cheaper than just refitting an old one. So this is, yeah, this isn't the fully upgraded one, but it's the mostly upgraded one. Who? Oh, Chips took over some of this mining here and is going to have it taken away from him. These torpedo Riens are very dangerous to let these get ranked up, by the way, because I don't know if it's their officer or their veteran ability, but they get an ability that where their default attacks shut down weapons on stations and turrets. So unless the enemy has an ultimate starbase, you can just like plink them and all their guns will go down on their starbase. And your torpedo Riens just have a field day. This lone sailor, yeah, you counter them, but I don't know if it's safe. Oh, there we go. Did you get it? You got it. Yep. So all you need is a single officer torpedo Rien, and all of a sudden you can disable weapons on starbases. It's really deadly. But these guys need to cloak. You need to cloak and run, dude. Cloak, 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 cloak. Oh dear. The opening volley is doing so much. I think they just used their specials. That's how that took a crazy amount of damage. They are gonna almost kill it. Oh, that's sad. Honestly, the Romulans didn't kill too many. I didn't see exactly how many they killed, but they are relatively expensive. They're still like 700 die. And once this special completes in a minute, man, is that really like a 3-minute research? Once that special finishes, it's going to be really, really bad for Martok, because all of his gorgeous 48 offense battleships and his torpedo Riens are going to get stunned by the Sailars. Sailor is one of my favorite ships in the game, by the way. Sometimes I get concerned that his special is too overpowered, but I try to keep them from being too strong. And the fact is, even with the stat upgrade, they're still very expensive. They're like 1,050 resources for a 4736 ship. So they're a bit like some of the other Romulan ships, like the torpedo Riens. Like, their base stats are terrible for what they cost. It's just that if you use them correctly, if you use them in special ways. Starmaster Prodigy's income, or his saved resources have gone away. I guess that was, okay, he's rebuilt a sphere. He's on sphere 6, so he built a medium vinculum, and he is going for his ultimate starbase, and he got a transmission. So he has spent all of his money. Oh, and he's probably getting some Dode relays. Yeah, I think so. Interesting fact, Dode relays build way slower than the others. This is because otherwise it would be a bit overpowered to get turrets up so quickly. Ooh, this might be ill-advised. Yeah, you're not fighting beam spheres anymore. And you don't have your specials on your Daredix. Well, these ones do, although it looks like they haven't used them. Oh, but they can start stunning ships too. He is pulling back. So Martok has lost, I know he's lost 2, he might have lost a 3rd. And this might be his 4th, I'm not sure. I think he's going to cloak out okay. Yeah, that one cloaks out. But these guys have stun specials. If he just puts them on high special weapon autonomy right now... Oh, there goes the Rien. Interesting. So Martok's ships are auto-targeting the Riens. And obviously the Riens are all going to die, but These ships cost 3 times as much as a Rien, and they cost like 10 times as much supply. But that's gonna cook out. Yeah, Chips needs to use that stun special though. There, okay, there's one. I thought I saw it for a second there. Maybe not. Now the torpedo Riens are here, and I think they just popped their special, so they do a lot of damage. Oh, it's such a back and forth. Now the warbirds are running, but the Riens are out here, so that one gets killed. Still a lot of fun to watch this. Yeah, if we had phase plates on those Riens, they could dive into combat and tank some of the damage. They would die, but you know, every minute your Rien is dying, every couple seconds your Rien is dying, is a couple seconds your other warbirds aren't getting shot at. But yeah, are these auto-firing, or did you actually move them? I think they might have just moved by mistake. Yeah, they're running. Well, there's 1, 2... Only 2 killed. Oh, but this guy needs to go back. He's like, just kidding. Just kidding. It's interesting. Oh, bunch of torpedo specials, though. Ooh. It had like 2 hit points. Yeah, that's another thing, is you throw that special out while they're cloaking, the torpedo will still hunt them down and hit them. And now it's doing 80 damage to their hull. So, oh yeah, are these relays? No, these are interceptodes. But they get some nasty disables. I didn't see what other upgrades he got. I actually created these very nice icons on your station, so you can see what people have upgraded. So, wait, where's your... Oh, right, you don't need an upgrade facility or a Tal Shiar Academy to build the Daredecks. You only need the Research Institute. I might put their... I think I'm going to put their special, the stealth field, I might put that on, like, upgrade facility or something. So they can't just get that just with a single tech building. Because they're... Well, I mean, they're kind of a low-tech ship in that they cost a lot of supply. Like, in the lore, the idea is they're a low-tech ship, but their combat stats are very high. Tricky to balance them, but the Romulan tech tree needs a lot of work. It's very tricky to figure out. Here we see, the new tactical upgrade. So the new Romulan upgrade for Triptychs mod is a small increase to sensors and a small increase to movement. Oh, there it is, yeah. 4% move, 7.5% sensor. So if you get both levels of tactical upgrade, it's the same as getting level 1 sensors and level 1 engines. Was the idea. So, and actually in Triptychs mod, every race has either a sensor or an engine upgrade. Borg gets sensors through their data mining tech, and well, let's see. Borg gets sensors, Federation gets sensors, Klingons get engines. For the Dominion, PureTech gets sensors while Breen get engines. And for the Romulans, they get this tactical one that's like both sensors and engines together. And the sensor upgrades are way cheaper than the engine upgrades. So if you like, for the Feds, upgrading their sensors is really good. That's under construction. Which one of these is building it? Oh no, it is built, but it's upgrading. Oh boy, that's a lot of... Now those S2s technically counter the Salars, but there might be way too many of them. And now that this... Okay. Constructors are a little bit cheaper in Triptychs mod. Borg ones are, because they used to be cheap. And for the Borg, well, you know, they just upgrade their collective features, and that costs Tritanium, and then they get the whatever tech they choose, they get for free. So we saw Prodigy move out earlier, and then he came back. It is interesting because if he were to fight this fleet, with the Salars being all beam weapons, and these guys having 50% reduction against beam weapons, it's kind of like this Borg beats Chips, and Chips beats Martok, and Martok beats Prodigy. Ooh, there's the ultimate starbase. The Queen repository. Have I upgraded this tooltip? Not that one. Oh, there's going to be another tooltip. The Queen repository. You can only have one at a time. it's immune to all subsystem disabling attacks. And what did I give it? Oh, it just has an additional torpedo launcher. But it has 160, 400, and also the fact that every nearby station also has 50 offense value. Truth be told, for other races, it does things like it doubles the amount of mixed tech stuff you can have and the number of veteran ships you can have. The Borg don't have either of those. But honestly, the most important thing is the fact that it makes it immune to subsystem disabling, because in the late game, you don't want to have a 160 offense value station that gets disabled by one torpedo re-en. Like, that disables against starbases become really overpowered in the late game. So that's why having your starbase be immune to disabling effects is so effective. So over here we see both Chips and Martok have kind of sent guys over here to mess with this. Uh-oh. Oh, there's a special. Pink, pink, pink. 3 kills. Those re-ends were really doing a number, but the torpedoes were a bit more dangerous. However, Chips is back in Martok's base. And he just blew up into Daredex. And he's blowing up a bunch of miners. It's interesting. So Chips' fleet is bigger, but has lower ranks because they've done a little bit less fighting. And because the experience is spread out over more targets. Whereas Martok's, well, actually, I guess a lot of the ships Martok had that had ranks have died. Well, he's got a lot of ranks on these too. So now they're coming back, and we're going to have a big fight here. Martok still has not teched up his specials, though, while Chips has. So Chips can pop that special that gives minus 30% rate of fire on Martok ships. Martok has, however, gotten a weapon upgrade, and both tactical upgrades. So Martok ships actually move faster, despite being the same class. And the re-ends come in, so now Chips is taking some damage. Even with 50% reduced damage from those torpedoes, it's still a lot of damage coming in. Yeah, we lost some ships. At this point, Chips, you really do want to leave these Sailors on high weapon autonomy, so that they will use their single target disable on different ships in this fleet, because it's very hard to micro it, every single one. Now here we have these turrets disable weapons, by the way, on targets that they hit. So there's a veteran to Daredex with its weapons disabled, which also means it can't cloak out. And the Singularity Transmitter providing power to these ships. Oh, these Sailors need to use their specials. Yeah, the turret's doing a fair amount of damage, but I think Martok is coming out ahead. There we see one. Oh, it can't. No, there it goes. Oh, he used it on several ones. The thing is, it doesn't stack. It doesn't scale. So you only want one ship to do it at a time. But he did disable that Sailor, or that Tavar for a minute. Okay. Now these turrets can still shoot, but with the Singularity Generator gone, they're going to run out pretty soon. Oh boy, we have... Yeah, I think Martok is taking it. There's another stun, but the thing is, the Tavares, they have so much defense. I guess the Daredex do too. It's just the Sailors have less, actually. The Sailors have lower combat stats than the Daredex. They need their long range and their defensive passive, and they need... And then the game crashed, because someone tried to upgrade a Tavar that had already gained ranks, which is a bug in Triptychs Mod 3.7. So unfortunately the game ended here, and I'm really sorry about that, guys. We had a really great night tonight, and I am already working to fix these bugs in the next version. Hopefully the crashes don't ruin the experience of all the new stuff I've added. But I am going to upload this video, and we'll get to watch it, and we'll have more games. It looks like a lot of people are coming back who've been away for a while. So we'll have some more games for you guys soon, and I'll have version 3.8 out soon with fewer bugs and crashes. So far, all the crashes that are left are with Romulans, I'm pretty sure, just because they're the last race that I've worked on. Alright, this is Triptych signing off.